In today's news, the Federal Reserve and the United States government are independent from each other. So by logic, Trump doesn't really have the power to forcibly remove the chairman, Jerome Powell. But at the same time, he can do something about him. And should he be able to achieve his goal in removing Jerome Powell, crypto and in particular XRP is going to explode so much higher and so much faster in this cycle, kickstarting an even more volatile and crypto XRP bull run as modern TradFi capital is quickly rotating into the crypto market. It's no secret that Trump wants Jerome Powell gone. In the latest update and announcement he made on Truth Social, he is talking about preemptive cuts, about how we may see interest rate cuts sooner than later because so many people are calling for it. Now, of course, Trump isn't really referring to retail, not to us. He's mainly referring to his own administration. But the funny thing is, we have seen the likes of Bridgewater founder Ray Dalio and even ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood as well also call for the Fed to step in and take action as our economy is stagnating, heading towards a recession and inflation actually coming down. Why Jerome Powell hasn't taken action yet is mind-boggling to everyone. Going back, as we can see, Trump highlights, with energy costs so far down right now, food prices like Biden's egg disaster being substantially lower as well, and most other things trending downwards, there is virtually no inflation. This is a positive. This is good news. This is what Trump predicted as well and promised us. Low interest rate. The problem is, with virtually everything trending downwards, the economy is slowing down and it is stagnating. And this is when you want to cut interest rates. That's when you want to cut them. If inflation was high, then it's a hard decision to make because money printing and rate cuts causes inflation. But if inflation is low, and it is low, virtually no inflation right now, the cutting of rates can happen with the lower risk of causing a recession. All around the world right now, you can check it out, all around the world, you've got Japan, China, the European Union and many others. They are all starting to cut rates and print money. So Trump, rightly so, is very frustrated with Jerome Powell and he's trying to find a loophole to where he can find a way to alleviate him, to fire him as the Federal Reserve Chairman, to turn on the money printer and kickstart the economic and, in our case, the crypto bull run, an XRP bull run. And in fact, we can hear in this video here from Professor St. Onge, there are actually 3 ways that Trump can fire Jerome Powell. Take a very close listen.
Will Donald Trump fire Jerome Powell? Is the Federal Reserve about to get a well-deserved leash? Last week, Donald Trump posted on Truth, how the Europeans just cut rates for the 7th time, yet Jerome Powell sits on his hands, even with crashing inflation. Last week I mentioned we're actually in deflation right now. Trump added he can't wait for Powell's, quote, termination and might force him out early. In fact, the Fed's behavior is odd. For the past 112 years, the Fed has bailed out every policy-induced stock market crash, pumping out trillions of stock market morphine, the famous punch bowl, for everything from the Vietnam War to the 2008 bank crisis to COVID, where the Fed pumped $6 trillion to bribe voters into lockdowns. So with rising recession odds and a tariff-induced crash in stocks, where is Jerome Powell? Now, legally, the Fed has a dual mandate, price stability and economic growth. The economic growth part is how they justify policy bailouts. Those bailouts, of course, drive inflation, so much for price stability. Jim Grant has a great quote summing this up: the Fed's dual mandate is arsonist and firefighter. Now, you could argue the Fed should not bail out markets or the government, but the fact is the Fed is breaking 112 years of precedent. So there's 3 ways Trump can fight Powell. The easiest and weakest is appoint a shadow Fed chair to second-guess Powell until Powell's term ends in a year. The shadow would not have power, but he'll influence financial markets by signaling what policy will be in a year. The second option is wait and see on an upcoming Supreme Court case revisiting whether the president, and therefore voters, control so-called independent agencies, including the SEC, Equal Opportunity Commission, or the Federal Reserve. If he controls them, he can fire them all. But what if Trump wants to get rid of Jerome earlier, or doesn't want to gamble on the court? After all, a year is a long time when a paper recession looms from government layoffs and mass deportations, while a real recession looms from tariffs. Last week, Trump's chief economist Kevin Hassett said they're, quote, studying ways to get rid of Jerome. The most straightforward is that Trump can fire Fed members for cause, but interestingly enough, cause is not legally defined. Does it mean 4 years of double-digit inflation, or does Jerome Powell have to get caught with a hooker and a crack pipe? So as next brought to you by Unchained.com, whether Trump gets rid of Powell now or waits a year, the overwhelming favorite on prediction market Kalshi is Kevin Warsh. Warsh is actually considered an inflation hawk, so he wants tight money and high rates to keep inflation low. But Warsh has also been loyal to Trump, so he'd probably cut rates to cushion federal layoffs, mass deportations, and tariffs. The larger question is whether the Fed should be independent of voters like some occupying army. For a century, the Fed argued it needs independence to keep inflation low, citing academic research by professors who are paid by the Fed. Happily, there's an easy way to make the Fed very independent with actual growth and price stability. Just back the dollar with gold or Bitcoin. Last time this was visited was the Reagan administration. It was gold, not Bitcoin. It's time we have that talk again.
This is very interesting, and I mean, truth be told, at least for me personally, I don't really care if Jerome Powell is in power or not. I just want to see the Fed start cutting rates and printing money to send the M2 money supply so much higher than it is right now. It's already looking very, very good. Looking to be on track to see a 130k Bitcoin by July, August. Of course, it's not 100% correlation, it's got 80% correlation Bitcoin to the M2, but still, Bitcoin's already on track to see a lot higher heights starting now effectively. Bitcoin's starting to rally as well. So with the United States printing money, we'll see the M2 go so much higher, maybe even a 200k Bitcoin. Who knows? That sounds outlandish to say, but it's not that far-fetched if the America starts cutting rates and printing money. And that's not even taking into account the adoption we're going to see with crypto from the TradFi sector. Earlier today, 1.5 trillion with a T was wiped out of the stock market. So again, the economy is evidently bleeding. It's not good, but at the same time, crypto saw $60 billion in inflows. Now, of course, that's a small sum comparing to 1.5 trillion, but the fact still remains that we are seeing modern TradFi capital rotating slowly but surely into the crypto market. And when you consider the regulatory shift and frameworks we're about to see in America, the floodgates are about to open in this space, especially for XRP as well. Once that money printer turns on, we could see XRP surpass everybody's expectations and explode so much higher in this cycle. And for more information on what I am personally doing in the particular board, you can follow me here in this VIP group at wop.com/coin-factory, keeping all of you informed on what my moves and targets are, building realistic market expectations through alpha institutional research documents, educational sources as well, while also actively trading in this market. We have a limited time offer of a 7-day free trial period as well, so if you are interested, again, wop.com/coin-factory. You can find the link down below in the description. Now, XRP, in my personal belief, not financial advice of course, but I believe XRP will be the leading altcoin this cycle due to its institutional demand, excessive demand of that as well, and its adoption is not far off now. In accordance to this post here, as Smoke reposted, the SEC acknowledged XRP application for spot ETF towards the end of February, as well as other tokens. May 22nd though, which is only next month today, is an important date to watch in light of the recent ETF approval from a 2x XRP ETF from Teucrium, as the SEC must respond to Grayscale's XRP spot filing by them. We can see a lot more coming through, and truth be told, I think that the SEC are waiting for something. I think it's Paul Atkins, we'll get to that in a moment just though, but what I want to highlight once more is that we are simply not prepared or ready for the level of institutional adoption and capital that's about to flood into this space. You thought that 60 billion was a lot in inflows in one day. You thought a $3 trillion market cap in crypto is a lot. Well, the fact that you have 72 crypto-related ETF funds that are pending SEC approval is very big news, and says a lot about the sort of demand crypto is in right now. The institutions want crypto so badly, and better still, XRP makes the majority of these filings. I believe it's 19 and counting. There's many more going to come through. Best believe XRP will see the biggest level of institutional and retail adoption this cycle, as they get even more trust and clarity than ever before. We are waiting for Paul Atkins to become the SEC chair, and we'll see XRP ETF flood in very, very quickly. The trust is so strong for XRP. Earlier today as well, we can see that Coinbase, they moved 29.5 million XRP just before Coinbase announced and confirmed that they have just launched the CFTC regulated futures for XRP. Huge news. That is so bullish because CFTC only take care of commodities, not securities. So that makes XRP proven therefore to be trusted and a commodity. The biggest factor for this cycle, for the crypto cycle right now, for institutional adoption, is their biggest concern is regulatory trust, regulatory clarity, regulatory frameworks. Ripple is in the best spot, no word of a lie, because Ripple and XRP have over 50 money transmitter licenses, MTLs, across the entire United States, and these licenses allow Ripple to legally offer cross-border payment services using XRP and its RLUSD stablecoin, facilitating expanded access to United States financial services. So again, very, very big. And when you think about it, you've got the likes of Circle, Coinbase, BitGo, and many others that are still applying for banking charters. Ripple is already positioned. Ripple is in the best position to scale stablecoin usage and institutional payments in the United States. Do you get it now? Do you understand the level of institutional adoption that is waiting for us, and how we're going to see XRP scoop up so much, the most of this capital out of any other asset in this space? Why XRP is going to go crazy in this bull run once Trump manages to fire Jerome Powell, or at least once we see rate cuts and QE quantitative easing, we're going to see XRP soar to the moon. And this video here from Cyprus states very clearly to you all, don't get shaken out. The floodgates are literally about to open in crypto, especially for XRP as well. Take a very close listen again.
So it takes like the first movers to jump in and really push the envelope, like Strategy kind of leading the way, Rumble coming in, now GameStop coming in. Everyone's starting to slowly come in. It starts at slow at first, and then it happens all at once. I think we're at that point now in 2025 where it's going to happen all at once. And it just needed like some legs over the last 1 or 2 years, and I think we now kind of seeing those legs. And I think you're going to see the floodgates open up here very quickly. Everyone's going to follow. They needed to see the first movers do it. They needed to see the first movers stay alive. And now they're just going to follow.
Do your own research, or better still, come chill, chat and learn much more on the Coin Factory VIP group, again linked down below in the description. And as always, don't look short term, think long term, and I'll see you in the next one.